Hello again, my name's Serge Volken. I welcome you in my little leather atelier hidden in the middle of downtown Lausanne, Switzerland, close to the public but wide open to the world. Today we're going to talk about mixing colors. We have a nice selection of colors, and I mean, if I look at the dye chart, here, let's have a little zoom. You have 28 colors in leather dye, 16 in pro dyes, 11 in acrylics, and so on and so on. You can check it on the website. Do we really need hundreds of different colors like some fancy pants brands are offering? Not really. There might be more to it than just slosh some dye straight out of the bottle onto a piece of dead cow. If you only have a small selection of colors, you should be able to mix them. Well, at least if you pretend to be an artist, because an artist, that's the first thing he learns, is how to mix his colors. All right, so your business card and website says leather artist, but you got no clue how to mix colors? Let's just look at the very basics of color theory. The three primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. If we mix yellow and red, we get orange. Red and blue makes purple, and yellow and blue green. Those are the secondary colors. If we keep mixing each neighboring color with each other, we get yellow with orange, which is called yellow orange. Orange red makes red orange. Red with purple, who would have guessed? Red purple. And we go on to get some blue purple, blue green, and yellow green. And we have the tertiary colors. Let us resume. 3 primary colors, 3 secondary colors, and 6 tertiary colors. The usual exercise is to play with contrasts from light to dark. Remember, this is a theory about paint, not dye, so it might be that dye acts slightly different. Here is how it works. We divide our color slices in concentric circles, the outer circles in the unaltered colors as seen previously. We add another circle with a tiny bit of black, then another one with a bit more of black, and so on. Some of us may have done that exercise during their school years at art classes. Well, that is just the beginning of the big bang of endless colors. And it's time to let you watch me playing around with colors. Once again, I'll be using Bristol paper for this exploration because I want to save my leather for more important projects. I'll take 3 colors, not necessarily the pure primary colors, but close enough. That is beige, oxblood, and light blue. All of them are Fiebing's leather dye, the ones also called alcohol dyes. So, first let's do a little square of beige straight out of the bottle, just to see what that looks like. Close enough to yellow, good. Let's see, a little bit of blue, just the tip of the brush, because that's very potent stuff, blue. Mix it, normally we should get green. Let's see if that worked out. Yeah, that does it. Green, fine. Okay, from this point on, I will not bore you with an endless demonstration and talk about each single color. So let's speed up things a bit, because honestly, from this point on, I'm as clueless as whoever about what I'm exactly doing. I'm just dabbing around, add a bit of blue, some red, and so on and on. And this is exactly what I would like you to do. Do your personal alchemy and observe. You may even want to take personal notes. Play around, have fun. Do you see this? I just invented some colors that aren't even on the Fiebing's dye chart. The secret nobody else wanted you to know about. That with the few dye bottles, you have the key to an unlimited choice of colors. Did you ever wonder how many colors there are? 1,000 levels going from light to dark. Multiply this by 100 levels going from red to green, plus another 100 levels going from yellow to blue, which gives us a rough number of about 10 million colors. In theory, with 3 basic colors, you could mix all the colors there are. It's a little bit difficult, I agree. There's about 13,000 named index colors. You can make your own color mixtures with all the colors and dyes Fiebing has to offer, but as a rule of thumb, keep the different types of products to themselves. Obviously, you won't mix water-based dyes or acrylics with alcohol-based products. But what about pro dyes, also known as oil dye, and the plain leather dye that both use alcohol as solvent? I think I mentioned in a previous clip that this was doable. Well, I've been told that this wasn't the case. We may have a surprise or two because they don't seem to behave as expected, as I'm just going to test now. Our first candidate is the Oxblood leather dye we all just met before, and his competitor, red oil dye, that recently changed his name to Pro Dye. Both will have to endure some small shots of blue, and whoever turns purple first wins. Oh, wait a minute. We want this to be a fair game, so no contaminated brush here, and let's just use a clean Q-tip for each competitor. First round was just a single dab of blue. Well mixed shows that the little dye gets along just fine with his blue buddy from the same team and already points towards purple. Meanwhile, Pro Dye, or Oil Dye, or whatever he calls himself right now, seems to resist the blue, and his red is still dominating. Let's give him a second chance with some extra portions of blue. Pro Dye is struggling and fails to turn purple. Meanwhile, Leather Dye is doing fine and dandy. It looks like Pro Dye and Leather Dye may have some slight differences. We will leave the fine little word to the jury that will only give its decision when all the samples are completely dry. Thank you and bye for now. Before you decide whether you like a color or not, give it time to dry, because wet paint and wet dye, they always lie. Don't forget, we're dealing with inks here. Dyes are more like inks, not like paint. So they may behave a little bit different when you mix them. We're dealing here with art, not with science. So your personal perception also will play a role, and the perception of your client. Now this is going to get wicked. The angle of the sun has an influence on your color and light perception. If you're closer to the equator, you have a direct sunlight that is going to dull the colors down. This explains why people closer to the equator use very flashy and bright colors as opposed to those closer to the poles on one side or the other. No way I can go through all the colors within these 10 minutes, so it's up to you to do a little bit of homework. Try to understand what colors are, how we perceive them, why we see colors that actually in true nature don't really exist because it's just different wavelengths of the light spectrum. Then also go and look up at the internet, maybe start with Wikipedia, follow up their sources, and most important, go get yourself a book that explains color theory so you really understand what you're dealing with. Yeah, do it the easy way. Ask your social network. With all them contradicting answers, you probably end up knowing less than before you even asked the question. So do your homework. If you like that episode, give me a thumbs up just to boost my ego a little bit. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you'll be informed about the coming up episodes. And I'll see you then. Cheerio. Bye-bye. Psst. Get over here. I found these in his drawer, and he still clings on to that secret of the toothbrush.